Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, also 6:30 a.m. The Word. And we're going to be talking about filing income tax returns today. And I have with me my good friend and sponsor and guest, Hector Saenz, who is with Liberty Tax. He has his own franchise, and he's also one of the mentors for other franchises. And so I want to introduce Hector Saenz.
Hey, Todd, here today. So, appreciate you having me on the show. Love being here. Love talking taxes, right? That's what I love to do. So, appreciate you guys, for sure.
Tell us about the mentorship that you do.
Yeah, so I cover a region, so I'm what's considered a field consultant for the corporation, right? So I cover a region, big part of Texas. The only thing I don't have in Texas really is just Houston and Waco. But all the Liberty taxes in Texas, other than that, are under my region as well as New Mexico, right? So what I do is just go out to all these offices, consult with these franchisees, back and forth with, business advice, operational advice, different things, or if they're having issues with their offices, right? Things like that, I try to help them out with. Okay,
so are you their supervisor?
You can say that, yeah, something like that, and also maybe a liaison between them and the corporate office.
So do they have to show you their books or their report of some sort when you walk in?
No,
okay.
They don't. No, because it's at the end of the day, it's a franchise, it's their business, right?
Okay.
It's their business, so as long as they're following the franchise model, right? I mean, that's really what we're there to kind of oversee, but aside from that, consulting, right? Just connecting them with other franchisees and helping them where they have any questions, tax questions, right? When it gets a little more complex, we kind of work as a team and utilize our resources, right? So they kind of use me as that bridge to kind of help them find those folks within our
you're
system.
A collaborative organization.
We are. Yeah, it's a team effort, right? So that's why they put us in regions and kind of allow us to meet together, work together and do everything we can to help each other out. Awesome.
And how long have you been doing this for Liberty Tax?
I'll be going on 3 years. So 3 years in September. So aside from that, I've been a franchisee since 2008, right? So just enjoy what I do, right? So I think that's why this position was perfect, right? Since it allows me to kind of be out there and share my knowledge with the other team members.
It sounds like a lot on your plate to be running your locations and traveling around the state. How do you make all that work?
I get that question a lot, right? I mean, it can be, but the great thing is I have a good team, right? So I have a good team that takes care of the offices here in the San Antonio area, and have a good team even in the corporate level, right? That kind of helps with different things, different issues, and all that we might run into. So can't do it without a team, right? And so I think that's what helps me make it happen.
Tell us where your locations are here in San Antonio.
Sure. So I have 3 of them. So I have 2 on the south side of town. So I have one, my main location. I call it my main location, my very first one. So that's where I office out of. It's on Southwest Military, right across from South Park Mall, 2303 Southwest Military Drive. I have one right around the corner on Zarzamora and Nogalitos. We have one there in that location. Then we have one on the northwest side over on Babcock and Hebner.
Okay, so why put a franchise so close to your home office?
Well, it's it's a business thing, right? Business related.
It's a good location.
It is a good location. The demographics really need that other second location, and it's kind of like a satellite location to the main one. So it allows us to kind of get a further reach in that community for tax purposes.
And what's the best way to get started? To call you, email you, or what?
Either way, phone call or email. Email's probably best just because I'll be able to respond to it as soon as I see it. Phone calls, I'll be honest, I'm pretty busy this time of year, right? So I might miss one or two, but for the most part, if you shoot me an email, I can consult, answer questions, and even schedule meetings, right? Through email.
So let them know what the email address is.
Yeah, my email is hector.saenz, Saenz is S-A-E-N-Z, at libertysouthsan.com.
SOUTH, S as in Sam, A-N as in Nancy.
Yep. So for South San Antonio, right?
Right.
So that's libertysouthsan.com.
Okay, good. So you got those 3 locations, and you can help them with their annual federal tax return, and what else do you do?
Yeah, so we do bookkeeping services as well, right? So we consult a lot with the small businesses, those that might have complex situations with tax returns. Even if you owe the IRS a whole bunch of money, right? Even if you didn't use our services, you owe them a bunch of money. We have resources to kind of help with that, with tax resolution. And then we have partners like yourself, right, where we consult with businesses, and if it's time for them to structure or restructure, then we utilize our partners, to kind of help them go that route, right?
Okay. And for those people that have not filed, they need to file.
Yeah.
Can you help them?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can help. Pretty much just anybody that can breathe and needs to file a tax return, we can do it, right? We do from the simplest tax returns to the most complex, right? I have people that are multi-business owners, or maybe day traders, right? Have multiple forms to file. We do it all, right? So we can help anybody that needs to file a tax return.
Well, sometimes I get a call from a prospect. They think they need an attorney because they just imagine the worst, that they're going to be in so much trouble for not filing for years previous. And I try and send them your way, and hopefully they call. But they get paralyzed with fear and anxiety, and it's hard to make that call.
It is. They some people assume that we are the IRS, right? And we're not. We work for the client, right? We work for the client, and we do what we can to make sure that we get them. If they're in trouble, we get them out of trouble. But for the most part, it takes a lot to get in trouble with the IRS, right? It takes years to get that, get to that point, right? So we the first thing we do is just consult with them, let them know here's your situation, here's what we can do to fix it, right? And just create a plan, action plan, and then work it from there.
Okay, well, let's start talking about the standard deduction and other deductions, itemized deductions. What's the difference between the standard deduction and itemized deductions?
So it's optional, right? So you're allowed by tax law, right, to choose between your standard and your itemized. In 2017, I believe they increased the standard deduction. So we're finding that a lot more people are finding it harder to itemize because of the increase in the standard deduction. But basically what that standard deduction is just an automatic deduction that the IRS allows on your income based on your filing status, right? And so with that standard deduction or reduce your income, from there we determine if you have taxable income after that. So that's why some people itemize, right? Like taking the taxes on their home, interest on their home, other stuff like medical expenses and some other miscellaneous items that they can deduct. And if it goes over the standard amount that's available to them, then they'll itemize, right? Or also called the long form.
Yeah, so you kind of need to think of all the deductions you might be entitled to. Do you help people figure that out? Absolutely,
right? We'll ask questions, right? We don't automatically assume the standard, right? So we'll ask questions to see if we can discover opportunities for them to itemize, right? And so, we'll go down the line, right? Medical stuff, right? We'll go down the line with the house stuff, interest that they're paying, things like that, just to uncover any opportunities to itemize, right? So, we never leave. We don't cut corners, right? We make sure that the client's getting every deduction that they're entitled to.
And do you meet with everybody or talk to everybody, or do you have help with other people in these offices?
No, so I have help. I have teams, right? So each office that I run has an office manager. So we have plenty of help, so it's not always just me with each client.
Okay, we got to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We'll talk about some specific deductions. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the Ten Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.